Alors, j'ai entendu vos propos.
So, I heard your remarks, Mr. Prime Minister, on European preference, but Mrs. von der Leyen did not hear you, or perhaps she did not even listen to you, who announced having agreed to the massive purchase of American arms as part of an unfair agreement made with President Trump. Meanwhile, public reports have multiplied to sound the alarm on the state of French equipment, on their quantities, on their availability, and especially on the dire state of our ammunition stocks. And all of this was done without any vote from the French people. These decisions were made in the silence of the corridors of Brussels. No, it is not just the budget. The federalization of our defense policy is also embodied in defense programs that are now clearly failing. You know this, Mr. Prime Minister, since you were Minister of the Armed Forces for more than 3 years. The SCAF, the Future Combat Air System, is currently at a standstill, as I had predicted for years, simply because it is based on no operational need, on no clearly established industrial synergy. What Emmanuel Macron has built is neither European sovereignty nor European partnerships. It is a Potemkin village, where our industry leaders, to avoid displeasure, episodically pretend to believe that the impossible would be possible, that the irrational would be rational, that the unreasonable would be reasonable. All of this is crashing against the wall of reality. And indeed, you explained to us, Mr. Prime Minister, that the apparent limitations of the military planning law would be offset by additional credits voted each year in the year-end budget law. Given the dire state of public finances, this commitment has not been fulfilled. The additional costs related to overseas operations, such as expenses linked to our support for Ukraine, have not been covered by the necessary additional resources. All of this has been funded to the detriment of our armed forces. Similarly, the military planning law foresaw an explosion of pushing forward of expenses, meaning unpaid debts of the Ministry of the Armed Forces at the end of each year. This assembly incapable of voting on a budget is your creation. In a healthy democracy, this situation would be resolved by returning to the polls to give a clear majority and direction to the nation. You did not make that choice. You relied on the survival instinct of old, tired parties whose sole objective is to delay the moment they must return before the voters. Today, the French do not need a puppet vote. They do not need a staging of democracy. They need a real, effective vote, meaning new legislative elections in the service of recovery of our country. The vote and democratic deliberation are not trifles. We will not deviate from our course. It is time to truly give the voice back to the voters, not to drown out the denial of democracy that you are conducting by refusing the organization of new legislative elections through the staging of votes devoid of any effect. That is our sole objective. That is our only compass.